Hi buddies, welcome back to my channel. It's your baby girl again, as you already know, Oshine Adiola. How are you guys doing? And I hope you guys are doing very well. As you can see in this display picture already, you guys already know what we are creating in this tutorial. So please stay watching as we do this together, and it's going to be very helpful for my beginners, okay? So let's proceed. This is for beginners that they don't really know how to make this one and over the neck top. Okay, so for my shoulder measurement is 15 divided by 2 is going to give us 7.5, which I did chopped already. And for my shoulder to my armhole is 9, and my round bust measurement is 32, and 32 divided by 4 will give us 8 inches. Okay, and my full top length is actually 16. Okay, and after measuring the 16 inches, as you can see in the video, then you can now measure your waist, your round waist, which is round waist divided by 4. My round waist measurement is actually 25 divided by 4 will give us 6.5. And after getting out the body measurements, you can now use your ruler to trace the measurements out. And also, I want to use this opportunity and this medium to say thank you to all my subscribers. You guys are doing so well. We are on the road to 5,000. Who am I? Who is Oshine Adiola without you guys? Thank you so much. After that, you can now add in your allowance. After chalking out the body measurement, you can now add in your allowance. And for me, I added 2 inches allowance, which is 1 inch for my dart and the other one for my sewing allowance. Okay, then you cannot put your neck measurement. Our normal regular measurement for neck is always 3 by 3. Okay, and I told you earlier that we're actually making a 1-hand sleeveless top for this our dress that we're making. Okay, so now this shoulder is not going to be a regular shoulder. When we divide the 15 divided by 2, it's going to give us 7.5, and when we remove 3 for the neck circumference, it's going to give us 4.5. But instead of getting the actual 1 and 4.5 inches, we are actually going to extend it, because I want a wider shoulder all the way to the neck side. Okay, I'm going to be displaying a picture of what I'm actually talking about. So this is what I'm doing here. All I did was to go in. After getting my neck measurement, I went in by 2 inches, depending on how long and how wide you want your shoulder to actually look like. But you should understand what I'm trying to say. I went in by 2 inches, and after getting my 2 inches in, I opened it up, then went to the armhole. I went down by 1/2 inch, and at the center of my top, I went down by 1.5 inch, just to get the actual connection to the neck. Okay, it doesn't have to be 1.5 inches if you want to join it together, depending on the body measurements you're actually making. Okay, but for me, I'm actually doing a size 12. So when I calculated all the measurements, all I needed to do at the center was to go down by 1.5, and after going down by 1.5, then I joined it together with my curve ruler. Please note, it's not a straight ruler, you're using a curve ruler, because at the chest line it has to give a couture U-neck kind of thing, if that makes sense. And after doing that, you can now use your front pattern to trace the back pattern. Okay, and at the upper shoulder also, you extend the upper shoulder by 1 inch. We actually do not need a center back zip, we need a side back zip. So just do the replica of what you've done in the front. And for the back armhole, you can just come out by 1 inch at the center of the armhole. That is, if your armhole is 9 inches, you divide the 9 inches by 2, which is going to give you 4.5, and you come out at the center back hole by 1 inch. As you can see in the video, you just come out by 1 inch and then cut it out. As you can see in the video, the back has to be a little bit bigger than the front in some aspects, and the aspects are the armhole, the center armhole, you come out by 1 inch, and at the shoulder you come up by 1 inch, and by the neck side you can also come out by 1 inch, because the back has to be a bit bigger than the front. The front measurement is always different from the back measurement. So like we did for the armhole, you're going to be doing it for the neck side also. So use your tape to measure the front neck, then you divide it by 2 to get the center back. Then when you get the center back, then you can now come out by 1 inch and then join it together, as you can see in the video. And after that, you can now cut it out and label. Please label, because they are a bit similar. Then after that, you can now cut the folding face for the front and the back, as you can see what I'm doing in the video. After cutting the folding faces for the front and the back, then you can now take it to your machine and stitch, okay, and give it a nice press. But before then, I would like to show you how the neck would actually look like on a client, on my mannequin. This over the neck shoulder actually give like a sophisticated look. Trust me, it does. So this is me after pinning it. As you can see, the neck side is actually going all the way to the neck. The shoulder is actually going all the way to the neck, as you can see in the video. Like, it's not like stopping at the the shoulder. It's coming all the way to the neck side. You can also pleat it if you want, it depends on your choice. By pleating it, you just have to extend the shoulder so that you can get the pleating allowance. Like, it just gives like a different look totally. Then after that, we are cutting the skirt pattern. The skirt, everyone knows how to cut the skirt, but for like my beginners as well, I'll just show you like tips on how to cut the skirt. The full skirt measurement is actually 16, like the full length measurement is 16. Then after getting your 16 full length measurement, please note I'm just trying to like manage this sequence fabric. So after getting your full length measurement, which is 16 inches, then you get out your waist measurement. If you want to add your darts, you add 2 inches after your waist measurement, or 1.5 inches after your waist measurement. But if you are not adding that to your skirt like mine, you can just get the skirt's waist measurement alone. And after that, from the waist to the hip is 9 inches, and from the round hip measurement, for example, if the hip measurement is 40 divided by 4 will give us 10. Then from the new length, you minus 2 from the 10 inches, which is going to be 8. Then that is going to be your new length measurements. Okay, after that, you can now chalk it out and just put in your allowance. But please note, this sequence is actually a stretchy fabric. Okay, so the allowance I'm going to put in is just going to be 1 inch, and sometimes I don't even add allowance too much. It could be ½ inch. Sometimes I don't even add any, because it's actually like very stretchy. Do you understand? And like I said earlier, the zip is going to be by the side, so you can use this pattern to also cut your back pattern. Okay, and probably like put like 1 inch allowance. If there is no allowance in front, you can just put like 1 inch allowance, just in case anything can happen along the line. So after that, what we are doing next is to cut out this flare that is going to be at the tip of our dress. And actually I have a tutorial video, like a detailed tutorial video on how to cut a flare. So just for this video's sake, let me just show you again. The round nail measurement is 18 divided by 4 will actually give us 4.5. okay, but let's just do 20, which is going to be 5. So you have to put the 5 round and then chalk. Then after that, you can now measure the normal flare that you need for the skirt. Now the normal flare measurement I actually need is 9.5. The full normal measurement is 8. Then I also added 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. And as you can see, I'm just trying to like chalk out the 9.5. And after chalking it out, then I will trace it and then use my scissors to like cut it out. Then for this one, I actually need like the front face and the back face. That is, we need front and back, but the normal flare I need at the moment is 10. So 10 in 2 places is going to give us 20. Okay, so we're actually cutting out 20 flares for this flare on the skirt. Okay, and after cutting everything, you can now join the front and the back together. As you can see, take it to your machine and join it together, then give it a nice press. The sewing part, let it pop out. Then after giving it a nice press, we'll be adding our thick fishing line, and after stitching and pressing, then we'll be putting in our thick fishing line. Okay, we'll be passing through our thick fishing line to give us that wavy look that we want for the skirt. As you can see in the thumbnail, you guys already know what we are doing. So we're going to be passing this thick fishing line into our stitch organza. But for this part, you have to be using another foot entirely. I have 2 face zip foots, and I'll be using the other foot to like sew in our fishing line inside the organza. And please note, when you're actually buying the fishing line, please emphasize on the twin fishing line. Like, it's very thick so that it can give you that, you know, wavy thick look. Please don't buy a tiny fishing line, buy the twin fishing line. It's very, very thick. And if you can actually use your two-faced foot, you can actually do that. But for me, I'm actually very okay with the one-faced foot. But if you can actually use the two, is very okay. But the benefit of this one-faced foot, it will actually hold in your fishing line. It will hold it very tightly inside the organza. As you can see in the video, like, it's very tight to move away from the organza. But if you use two-faced foot, you can still get this kind of look. It's just that it will be very different. It won't like be very tight. And after doing everything, because I actually did 10, then I took it to the weaving machine to weave. And also before then, I already joined my skirts. I already joined the front and the back together, and I already joined my top also, but I did not join the top and the skirt. So after that, this is me trying to pass in the flare. I measured 4 inches up, then I started arranging my flare on the skirt accordingly. And when you're done arranging the flare, depending on how many you want and how full you want the flare to look like on the skirt, you can now add in your top to the skirt. You join it together and you can now put your zip. So this is how it's going to look like. Just take your time. I just had to mix the colors because my organza wasn't like enough. So thank you boys for watching this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed and, you know, learned one or two. And I will see you guys in my next video. I love you buddies. Bye.
That's all that's in the me, and that's all I mean.